Hi, my name is Nadia Malik. Good morning, LT. Welcome to another edition of Partners for Prevention. As you know, each month we feature an organization that helps students improve their health and wellness. And today we are going to hear a little bit more about the Coalition for Drug-Free Lyons Township. The reason why we have chosen this organization is October. The theme for this month is substance abuse awareness. This is also the month we celebrate Red Ribbon Week, which is why I have this Zoom background. And so we're focusing on an organization that does that type of work. Our guest is the Executive Director of the Coalition, Ron Melka. So welcome, Ron. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Nadia. I certainly appreciate you asking me.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Coalition?
Okay, the Coalition for a Drug-Free Lyons Township is a unit that meets at Lyons Township Mental Health Commission and at Lyons Township High School. I'm also the Executive Director of Lyons Township Mental Health Commission. And so the Coalition is just one of the activities that I do under my job.
Sure.
It's based on federal guidelines from the CDC, and it's made up of a number of different types of representatives. So we have students, we have government units like my office, community organizations like Kiwanis or Rotary, businesses, churches, youth agencies like the Leader Shop, drug treatment agencies like Rosecrans, some police representation, media, parents, and community members.
To really get everybody involved.
Yeah. And it's based on federal guidelines that we have to have various groups that are part of it. Before the pandemic, we were meeting twice a month. We were meeting once at LT after school, late in the afternoon, early evening, and once in my office in the morning because people had different schedules.
Sure.
So yeah, sometimes the parents couldn't make it after school, or some of the other representatives, but they could make it in the morning. So we held it twice. Mm-hmm. We also have a youth task force. It's called the Catalyst, and it's part of our coalition. And we'll talk more about that later, but they met twice a month at LT High School. We just started meeting again via Zoom. So,
oh, great. Okay.
Just starting again, we had quite a hiatus to try and figure out what to do. The schools were just overwhelmed with their attempting to do e-learning, and we couldn't get our coalition going or do the types of activities that we did in the past.
But you're getting going now, and you mentioned a little bit about the activities that you've done in the past. So we'd love to hear more about that.
Okay. We started in about 2014, and Gene Whiting, who was Special Services Coordinator at Lyons Township, and Kathy Kokonis from Nazareth came to my office and said, well, we're having more issues with alcohol and drugs in the school or at sporting events, and what can we do to coordinate the police and the community and treatment and things like that. So my Mental Health Commission formed the coalition in that summer of 2014. They had also approached Rotary and a number of other groups, and Cindy Freimark from the Rotary started a community conversation group regarding the same type of issues. We got together and then merged and formed a larger coalition that started meeting. We did a needs assessment, got training by the federal government, by the coalition, the Association of Drug-Free Coalitions of America. And the coalition needs assessment was designed and conducted by students at LT. One of them was going to be a math major and statistician, and he worked with Dr. Kathleen Burke, who used to run the Robert Crown Center. Mm-hmm. And they put together this needs assessment, interviewed police departments, social workers. We did focus groups and a number of other things, and found that the two biggest problems at that time in LT were alcohol and parent attitudes. Mm-hmm. So how serious parents considered it, or whether or not they allowed their kids to go to parties or drink in the home, or sure, thought it was just a rite of passage that teenagers will drink.
Right.
That was what we started designing our programs around. So we've gone out to health fairs and held booths or done speaking
Sure.
there. We put together a teen bedroom called The Secret Life of a Teen Hidden in
Oh,
Plain Sight. And it's got all sorts of alcohol and drug, uh, either paraphernalia or clothing or
uh-huh.
posters or little hints that are hidden all over the bedroom. And the parents can come and try and see what they can find or learn about new things, new vaping devices, new types of drug issues, new types of slang or posters or other types
Sure.
of things to help parents identify that and talk with their youth about it.
That's
We've
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, we participated quite a bit in April Alcohol Awareness Month,
Mhm.
also Drug Fact Week and Red Ribbon. We did bottle tags, a sticker shock campaign with students from LT and their administrators, Brian
Wow.
Waterman and some of Brian Radovich, and they came over to Mariano's with the youth, and we
Oh,
put
good.
tags on the bottles that say, uh, you know, not don't allow underage drinking. It's not a rite of passage because parents might go in there and not think about what they're buying or buy
Sure.
things for their youth's graduation party or something like that.
Yeah.
We had speakers for parents and community groups, parent cafes, which were
Yeah.
discussions, say, on vaping or marijuana or alcohol, both in the middle schools and the high schools and the park district and other locations. We put up banners in various places around the community on those weeks. We did a storefront one year for Red Ribbon with a Halloween theme.
Oh,
And we did a pet parade cooler, one of the things that you design and then they auction off. Um, we held a great marijuana debate as they were uh, pushing through the bill to legalize marijuana. And we held that at the LaGrange Village Hall. And we had over 200 people in attendance. We had the media there, and Senator Stearns and Senator Durbin
wow.
and other officials were part of that debate. We've testified at various village halls regarding um, social awareness and social hosting campaigns. It's
Mhm.
when parents have parties, they need to know what they're liable for if someone drinks or comes in and brings in alcohol, if they provide alcohol,
Mhm.
and had speakers who's had lost their youth leaving a party, either falling into a drainage pool or
Yeah.
a car accident or something like that. We have volunteers at Drug Take Back Day. We had two volunteers this past Saturday at the LaGrange Police Station. One
Nice.
was Pablo Garcia from the National Guard, and he's an LT graduate. And
Yes.
one was Kathy Pearson from the Leader Shop. And they collected over 770 pounds of drugs this last
Wow.
Saturday that are now gone from people's homes. Um,
Incredible.
we've been part of National Night Out activities in LaGrange
Sure.
Park and other things with booths and handouts. We did a program in cooperation with Metro regarding the summer concert campaign or
Mhm.
concerts and the drugs and alcohol problems. So we did a campaign where we put posters up in Metro that were designed with messages for parents and others regarding concerts and drugs and alcohol and things like that.
Sure. Yeah.
We also have done presentation at Amita hospitals and other locations. Inside the high school, you asked about
Yeah.
that. We've been part of the Red Ribbon Breakfast and have spoken at that
Yes.
or gotten speakers or
Sure.
attended. We've had the youth task force and some of the service clubs working with us, putting up posters, handing out candy, handing out ribbons or activities that we've provided, the wristbands and some of the other things in some years. Um, we helped develop the library puzzles with Candy that week where they do questionnaires
Yes.
on Drug Fact Week.
Yes.
And we were asking since we started to do the Illinois Youth Survey at Lyons Township High School. There's over 1,800 schools in Illinois that conduct the Illinois Youth Survey, but LT was not one of them. And so it's hard to know what the problems are if you don't have a way to
Sure.
measure it.
Absolutely.
One year, getting a speaker that some of our youth task forces heard at Hinsdale, Chris Heron, who used to be on the Boston Celtics, who's known as the
Yeah.
basketball junkie.
Yes.
The task force really pushed to get him as a speaker. And
Mhm.
when he spoke at the LT gymnasium, you could
Right.
hardly hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
And there were kids who were crying during the presentation. And several students wanted to see a counselor right at the end. The school
Mhm.
got some calls from parents thanking them to have that speaker because their kids came home talking about it, and it started conversations at home. Um, After that Chris Herron presentation, which some of the board members from the high school were at,
Mhm.
they agreed to do the Illinois Youth Survey.
Oh,
And
wow.
they first did it in February of 2018, and then again this past February in 2020, right before the lockdown. So I'm glad we got that in. We
Yeah.
design our activities now based on the results of that survey. And so we're very anxious to see what the results are now. And we've had more speakers based on that, like Chris Herron, such as Dr. Weiner from Linden Oaks Hospital or
Mhm.
Andy Duran from Lead, which you
Yes.
have coming up
Yes.
in your presentation.
Yes.
Right when vaping started to be a problem in the fall of 2017,
Mhm.
Chris Kostopoulos, one of the assistant principals, came to our
Yes.
coalition, and she was a part of it and said that there were more vaping devices confiscated in the first month than all previous years.
Yeah. It's
We immediately planned parent cafes and handouts and our team bedroom to respond, even before it started appearing in the newspaper, just
yeah.
within the first month of it being a problem. We had various speakers come in and talk to the students and parents. There was a parent forum on vaping and the Illinois Youth Survey results from 2018, and we had almost 100 in attendance, and it went very
Wow.
well over at the South Campus.
Yeah, it's
Our youth
incredible.
mem-
I was gonna say, what I love about the coalition is you work at every single level, the community level, the youth level, the civic organizations, and then you mobilize so quickly with that information that
Mhm.
you receive from LT, responding to LT's needs. I mean, it's incredible the work that you do and that you've done in the past as well.
Thank you. We had one of our youth board members speak at the Lyons Township High School board meeting regarding some of those. Um, we also had for National Drug Fact Week in January,
Mhm.
a year and a half ago, our Catalyst members led an effort where LT participated with high schools from across the country in a high school town hall meeting. So you could ask questions, you could make comments. It was all online, and
Yeah.
it went very well.
The connection is really, really, I think, what the key like the secret sauce of the coalition. You're connected to the community, you're connected to the students, the parents, and things like that. Um, Many of our students, as you know, as you mentioned, a lot of LT graduates working with the coalition, a lot of current LT students are working, and there are many more who would like to continue to support this work. So, what are some ways that our current students can get involved with the work that you guys are doing?
Okay. Well, as I said, the Coalition Youth Task Force is called the Catalyst. The students chose that name. A
Okay.
catalyst is an agent that provokes or speeds a significant change or action. Um, if people are interested, you can contact Scott Eggerding or
Yeah.
Brian Radovich or Julie Breyer Smith. Those are three of the faculty that participate. Also,
Mhm.
the two service officers from Western Springs and from Alliance Township, or LaGrange rather, participate in our meetings as well. They can contact my office directly if they'd like. We have had occasionally a student from Nazareth or
Yeah.
some other community, or they were referred by their youth group at, say, St. John of the Cross
Mhm.
or St. Paul. Last year, the Catalyst members were circulating petitions to formalize the group into a club at LT. We need 60 students to sign and say that Lyons Township High School should have that club.
Mhm.
You don't have to join the club to sign the petition.
Yeah.
It just means that you think it's a good club to have on campus.
Sure.
So if they just sign the petition, even if they can't join the group, that would be great. Also, if they just volunteer for some of the activities, decorating for Red Ribbon, putting up
Yeah.
banners, putting tags or stickers on the bottles during drug alcohol month. Um, We're also planning some fun activities, some just outings and other things to get youth involved, safe activities or alternatives to some of the parties or other activities that there might be problems in. And once
Sure.
we can start those up again after the lockdown,
Yeah,
that should be something to look forward to.
definitely something to look forward to. So for LT students, what they'll do is if they're interested, and there's many opportunities that you mentioned. I'm just going to review some of them. Get involved in some of the events, volunteer, help start a club at LT, and also just reach out to yourself, Scott Eggerdane, Brian Radovich, or any of the other staff members who are involved in the coalition, and just show your interest, and then hopefully they'll get some guidance as to what
Sure.
their talents can really help bring to the coalition.
Now they can also tell their parents, and
Mhm.
maybe one of their parents would be interested in some of our activities. We have a Facebook page
Oh, great.
that's under the Youth Coalition where we post various articles. Almost every day there's an article or two regarding vaping or regarding marijuana and youth or DUIs or alcohol or some other activity. So you can turn to us for information.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, you can contact my office if anyone needs a referral, if a parent needs a referral, if a youth has a friend and they don't know what to do, they think their friend is heading into trouble. They
Mhm.
certainly can contact my office, the Lyons Township Mental Health Commission, and we'll refer them to one of the agencies such as Rosecrans or Pillars or some of the others.
Yeah.
As long as they talk to someone responsible and get
Yeah.
referred to the right place, that's all that we care about.
Yeah. So the first step is reaching out. Thank you
Mhm.
so much, Ron, for your time and for all the wonderful work that you do. I'm sure we'll be in touch, and have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye now.